Hello and welcome. To all those that haven't been here before, we hope you can find something here that will help you with your recovery. And for those that are coming back, thank you for returning to see what we're going to post. I want to first apologize for last week. My wife and I both came down with a terrible bug and it was not pretty. Neither were we. So we decided to forego the posting for last week. But we're back now and we hope to keep it continuous. But life happens. You'll never know. We're talking about sponsorship today. And I've had people come in the rooms and go, well, why do I need a sponsor? Well, let's put it this way. Your best thinking got you exactly where you are right now. Walking into recovery. The ideas that I had when I was out there needed to be changed. And I can't do this simply from reading from a book. I don't know about you, but I can't. I learn best when I'm shown. Like my first sponsor said to me on the night that I asked him to be my sponsor, yeah, I guess we can do this, but let's get one thing straight. I don't care if you like me. And he didn't. But he loved me enough to tell me the truth as he's seen it, no matter what kind of tantrums I threw upon hearing it. He was a very strong man, and he guided me by showing me. He also said, you know, you can struggle to work a program, or you can simply adopt a new way of life. And if you choose to do that, here's what I suggest. And he handed me the big book and said, this is the rule book. There is nothing in your life that can happen that the answer isn't in this book. But it is easier to simply live it than trying to learn it. And that's been my experience. He always had to come walk with me and I'll show you, rather than read this and I'll tell you type of attitude. And that worked really well for me. Sponsorship and sponseeship is a two-way street. The sponsor gets as much out of the relationship as the sponsee does, because you're allowing him or her to give back in a real meaningful way. There were only a couple of rules my sponsor told me about sponsorship. First, you do not sponsor the sex that you are attracted to. Because the sponsor-sponsee relationship is such an intimate one that it can create issues where boundaries are broken. You know, sponsors and sponsees are not meant to sleep with each other. They're meant to learn from each other. So be safe and pick someone opposite to the sex you like to go to bed with. He also suggested that when you ask a sponsor or someone to be your sponsor, you ask them to be a temporary sponsor. Sponsor for 6 months and then revisit at the end of that. Because if you do at the end and it's not working, you can just walk away and say, hey, it didn't work. There's none of the drama involved with I have to fire you as a sponsor or I have to let you go as a sponsee. It's simply, hey, you know what? It didn't work. We'll move on. These suggestions are the type of suggestions like if you're jumping out of an airplane and you have a parachute on, pull the damn ripcord. They're meant to save your life. You know, when my first sponsor, passed away, I almost ended my life. I almost committed suicide because I had made a mistake. And the mistake was that I had put the responsibility for my recovery in his hands. I made him responsible for me being in recovery. So when he left, I was screwed. You know, I had nobody to take up the responsibility of me staying sober. I had to do that for myself. And it was a big transition, and it almost cost me dearly. So take your sponsor down off the pedestal. He is or she is a person, a human being just like you, with all the warts and all the mistakes. You know, don't expect your sponsor to be perfect, because they're not going to be. But if you have a good one, they will tell you the truth about what they see in how you're addressing your recovery. And they will be strong enough to kick your ass when you need it. I know mine was. And out of this, I get to celebrate 23 years on the 25th of this month, where I have not seen it necessary to pick up a drink of alcohol. One day at a time. So I hope some of what we have put out here today has been helpful for you if you're looking for a sponsor. If you already had a sponsor, I hope what we've said today has been helpful in guiding you about the relationship between a sponsor and a sponsee. And if you don't have a sponsor, get one. Because if you're sponsoring yourself, both the sponsor and the sponsee are idiots. So, until we meet next week, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, wish that we all walk hand in hand with each other and with our higher power. Bless you. Shalom.